Every morning, Claire woke up to the sound of her alarm and the weight of her own thoughts. She had a good job. She worked hard and earned well. But something was eating at her, something she could not ignore. Her husband, Mark, did not earn as much as she did. Mark was a kind man. He worked as a teacher at a local school. He loved his students. He stayed late to help those who were struggling. He came home with stories about children who had finally understood a difficult lesson. His smile was genuine. His heart was big. But his paycheck was small. Claire looked at their apartment. It was not small, but it was not large either. Their car was older than the cars of her friends. Their vacations were simple. She would scroll through social media and see photos of other couples. Big houses. New cars. Expensive dinners. She felt a knot tighten in her chest. One evening, after a long day at work, she sat at the kitchen table. Mark was cooking dinner, humming softly to himself. She watched him for a moment. Then the words came out before she could stop them. "Mark, we need to talk." He turned around, still holding the wooden spoon. "What is it?" She took a deep breath. "I feel like we are stuck. I earn $5,000 a month. You earn half of that. My friends' husbands earn more. They have nicer things. I just feel like we are falling behind." Mark did not get angry. He did not raise his voice. He just stood there, the steam from the pot rising between them. He nodded slowly. "I understand," he said quietly. "I will figure something out." Claire wanted to say something more, but she did not. She went to bed that night feeling a strange mix of relief and guilt. She had said what she had been holding inside for months. But something about his calm face made her feel small. The next week, Mark came home later than usual. He looked tired. His shoulders were heavy, but he smiled when he saw her. "I found a second job," he said. "At a restaurant downtown. I will work there in the evenings after school." Claire felt a flicker of surprise. "Are you sure? You will be exhausted." He shrugged. "It will help. We need the extra money. I can earn about $2,000 more a month. That will bring us closer to what you want." She wanted to say that she did not ask him to do this. But the words did not come. She had complained. He was solving the problem. She told herself this was what she wanted. For the first few weeks, Mark managed. He would wake up early, go to school, teach all day, then go to the restaurant and work until late. He came home after midnight, his feet sore, his eyes tired. Claire would already be asleep. In the mornings, he would be gone before she woke up, already on his way to school. They barely saw each other. The money started coming in. The extra $2,000 made a difference. Claire looked at their bank account and felt a sense of relief. But something else was happening. Mark was fading. The light in his eyes was dimming. He stopped humming in the kitchen. He stopped telling stories about his students. He ate quickly, slept briefly, and worked constantly. One night, Claire woke up to a strange sound. It was late, past midnight. Mark was not home yet. She walked into the living room and found him sitting on the couch. He had not even taken off his shoes. His head was tilted back, his eyes closed. His face was pale, and his breathing was shallow. "Mark," she said, her voice uncertain. He did not respond. She touched his hand. It was cold. Her heart began to beat faster. She shook his shoulder gently. Nothing. Panic rose in her chest. She grabbed her phone and called for help. At the hospital, the doctors told her that Mark had collapsed from exhaustion. His body had simply given out. He was working too hard, sleeping too little, and pushing himself beyond what anyone should. They gave him fluids and told him to rest. He would recover, but only if he stopped. Claire sat beside his bed, watching him sleep. His face looked peaceful now, but also thin and tired. She thought about the last few weeks. She thought about his quiet acceptance when she had complained. She thought about how he had not argued, not defended himself. He had simply gone out and found a way to give her what she wanted, even at the cost of his own health. Tears began to fall down her face. She had been so focused on money, on houses, on cars, on what other people had. She had looked at the numbers in their bank account and forgotten to look at the man beside her. He was not lazy. He was not unsuccessful. He was a teacher who touched young lives every day. He was a husband who, when his wife was unhappy, did not blame her but instead tried to fix the problem with everything he had. When Mark opened his eyes, Claire was holding his hand. "What happened?" he asked, his voice weak. "You collapsed," she said softly. "You were working too hard. You were exhausted." He tried to sit up. "I need to call the restaurant. I have a shift tomorrow." "No," she said firmly. "No more. You are done with that job. I am done with complaining about money." He looked at her, confusion in his eyes. She took a deep breath. "I was wrong, Mark. I was so wrong. I compared you to other men. I looked at what they had and forgot what I have. You are kind. You are good. You love me. And I almost destroyed you because I wanted a bigger house." He was quiet for a moment. Then he squeezed her hand. "I wanted to give you what you wanted." "I know," she said, tears in her eyes. "But I did not need a bigger house. I needed to see what was right in front of me." They sat together in the quiet hospital room. The machines beeped softly. The fluorescent lights hummed. And in that moment, Claire understood something she had never understood before. Money was important. It paid the bills and put food on the table. But it was not the thing that held a marriage together. Love was. Care was. Appreciation was. And she had almost lost all of it because she had been looking at the wrong numbers. Mark left the restaurant job. He went back to teaching, back to his students, back to coming home with stories about children who had finally learned to read. He started humming again in the kitchen. The light slowly returned to his eyes. And Claire? Claire stopped comparing. She stopped scrolling through social media, measuring her life against photos of other people's houses. She started looking at her husband and seeing not his paycheck, but his heart. They still lived in their apartment. They still drove their older car. Their bank account was comfortable but not huge. But something had changed. There was peace between them. There was laughter. There was gratitude. Claire learned that a happy marriage is not built on money. It is built on appreciation. It is built on seeing what your partner gives, not what they lack. It is built on noticing the small things, the meals cooked, the stories shared, the quiet presence beside you at the end of a long day. She often thinks about the night she found Mark collapsed on the couch. It was the worst moment of her life. But it was also the moment that saved her. It woke her up. It showed her what truly mattered. Now, when she looks at her husband, she does not see what he does not have. She sees a good man. A hardworking man. A man who, when his wife was unhappy, did not get angry. He just tried harder. That, she knows, is worth more than any house, any car, any number in a bank account. Love is not about what you can buy. It is about what you are willing to give. And Mark had given everything. She vowed to spend the rest of her life giving back. Thank you for learning English with this story. What do you think is more important, money or love? Write your answer in the comments. And remember, sometimes the things we think we want are not the things we truly need.